Welcome to Dave Talks Some More, the podcast at the intersection of humor and, Hey, I'm your host, Dave, and together we'll explore a riveting world of mundane topics with unparalleled indifference. So get ready for a riveting journey through,
whatever.
This is Dave Talks Some More.
All right, far out,
man. Thanks for joining us yet again. It's Sunday afternoon. The Saints are playing. I don't think anybody cares.
Nope.
Somebody's got to explain to me why the NFL is putting all their games behind a paywall. Smart, very smart. You wouldn't want fans to be building up any excitement for the NFL season. So yeah, I was gonna kind of tune in for the first quarter, and I saw it's on the NFL Network, which I ain't paying for that, and so I thought, well, I guess I'll just find out how they did later
on your on your cable system.
Cable on demand. I don't know. I mean, I'm not paying a dollar to China to watch NFL. No, I mean it's if it's on like Fox Sports at noon during the regular season, I'll watch it. Preseason NFL football, what kind of hardcore I don't care about college football junkie do you have to be sitting there and watching that? So that's a no from me. Anyway, I wasn't planning on starting with that, but it just occurred to me. So how was F1? Did you go see it? I knew this would be the week that you would finally go see it. How was it? What did you think?
The trailer was great.
You didn't go. You didn't know. It's 3 weeks in a row.
I tried to go. I sat down yesterday morning at about 9:30ish and went on my Fandango app, and I had two options for the movie. And that was 7:45 at night, or I think 10:30 was the other showtime.
Okay.
At one theater. That was at Malco.
At the Malco. Okay. Sure.
Well, actually, there was a showing at Cinemark out in Pearl that was like
no.
It was like 10. It was also at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I
would not be going to the Cinemark.
They had no daytime matinee, nothing. And so I texted my wife and said,
honey, I'm sorry, but I'm going to the movies tonight because I promised Dave that I would go.
She was working. She had to work yesterday. And so I texted her and I was like, any chance you would like to go to the 7:45 showing of F1? I knew the answer.
Crickets.
No, you can go. And
you can go.
Yeah.
Was
right.
Was that a marital you can go?
That's the marital bait. Sure, honey, you can go.
Yeah.
So, you know what I did?
You've been around long enough to know what a marital no means.
I thought, you know what? I think, so the next thing I did, I was like, I think I'm not going to go. The next thing I did is I went to Amazon Prime because you can rent movies that are still in theaters. And it said coming soon. I think it might be coming out next week, and I'm going to watch it in my home theater, which honestly is the same.
Okay. Well, I write it down every week. We're going to talk about, I mean, I can't even remember this is like a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, my daughter is obsessed with F1, watches every race, gets up early,
the actual sport. Yeah.
Yes. And so, and I love F1 racing too. I follow it as well. My family is a racing family. Well, me and my children. Sarah could care less about racing, but we love F1. We really, really love NASCAR, and the
really.
Yes. And so I called Sydney and I said, by the way, I think F1 is going off this week from the theaters. I said, have you been? She said, I can't get anyone to go with me. So
how about you?
She's a night owl.
Yeah,
and it's like, is. I mean, I'm like thinking, well, you could have stayed up, late. Anyway, whatever.
Explain the attraction of NASCAR to me, because I really have sat down and tried to get into it, and it's just like to me, it's like watching a dot race. Oh, the blue car's up. Oh, now the red car's up. Oh, look, the yellow car is coming up. And I don't care about whether the yellow car beats the green car, which is behind the black car. Help me get the gist of this.
Are you a fan of horse racing?
No.
Are you a fan of any type of racing?
No. I can't think of any racing that would entertain me. I saw the people the rowboat race movie, and I couldn't believe how bad it was because it's just people pulling oars in a rowboat for 2 hours.
Well,
so
I'm going to speak just briefly.
Wait. I like track and field. That's racing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I like that.
So
kind of, but it only lasts for like a minute and a half.
Did you watch Battle of the Network Stars in the 70s when you were growing up? I mean,
I only had 3 channels. Don't judge me for that.
I watched it. I watched it.
I know you had, because you only had 3 channels.
There was a competition,
and it had all the actresses. That's in the 70s when all the actresses wore the little short shorts. And yes, you watched it.
Absolutely, you watched it, and you wanted to know who won. Growing up,
I was watching it for different reasons, but okay.
Growing up, I was a huge fan of horse racing. I read all the Black Stallion series.
Wow!
I would get my dad loved the Triple Crown. Every year we would come out. I had a horse, a quarter horse, not a thoroughbred, but I had a horse growing up, so I loved horse racing. And then in the early 80s, late 70s, I can remember watching the Indianapolis 500 and just being completely in amazement at how fast these guys were going.
Right.
And I have been a car guy my whole entire life. And so when I got my driver's license, I also realized that I love to drive fast, very fast.
Now, I'm with you on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
So
on
I'm
that.
competitive. I love the speed, and it's something that I've just always loved. But I also, I just like competition, and so yes, for example, I was watching the other day where they were having some, track and field competition, and this kid who was like 15 years old ran some like 1 minute and 40-second 800 lap. He beat 2 recent world champions who were running in the race. One had competed in the Olympics just last year, beat him, a 15-year-old.
Wow.
It was just amazing.
Yeah.
So I just love that kind of stuff. And now, as far as NASCAR goes, obviously, I think the general public, if they're not like me, I think they love the thrill of the crash that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
Now, look, the first time that I ever went to a NASCAR race, okay, I went to Atlanta Motor Speedway, and a buddy of mine was taking me, and he was like, dude, you have no idea what it's like. It's like
I've always heard that hockey and NASCAR are, if you're there, completely
100%. So I went to my first NASCAR race. I'm sitting there. We had really, really good seats, and the good seats are not low. You do not want to be close to the track.
Why is that?
Because you get covered in dirt and oil and grease.
Really?
And it's too loud. You can't see, and it's terrible.
Okay.
So the best seats are at the top. And so I had great seats, and they were out there, of course, they were going around in their warm-up lap, and the pace car pulls off, and 43, stock cars come rumbling down the home stretch. And it was, at the time, it was the loudest thing I had ever heard in my life.
Right.
It just literally shook me to the core. And before the race was going, I saw these people with like these, like big headphones, that you like the steel plated outer cover, I'm like, what are all these jokers? And my buddy was like, well, a lot of people like to listen to the race, and you can tune into some of the, drivers' frequencies or whatever, but it also helps muffle the sound. And I'm like,
why would you want that?
I was like, wimps,
Yeah.
And of course, I understood. But no, I took my wife when we went to Canada about, 6 years ago, maybe. We went up to Banff. We went skiing up there. And so we had flown into Calgary, and when we got done skiing, we were going to have an extra night in Calgary. And so I went and got us hockey tickets because I'm like, you're in Canada. I mean, how can you not go see
what
it?
else is there to do in Canada? That's right.
So we
it was
went,
either that or go tap a maple tree and get some syrup. That's
it was not an NHL game, but it was like just underneath NHL. It was professional hockey, but it was like a sub league,
the AAA of the NHL.
But it was in this old. They had like one of those throwback games, and so the two teams that were playing in this old hockey arena. It was like a special event, and everyone was wearing their old hockey jerseys, and of course we go sold out. And the people there were as nice as can be. Sarah had no idea. She thought, this is going to be miserable, but I'm going. My husband wants me to see a hockey game. And, of course, she was like, you can see the puck, And then she was like, and the fights and all the people, and she just had a blast.
There it is.
She was like, I've never realized it could be this much fun. And so she keeps telling the kids she wants to take them to see a hockey game.
Yeah, she wants to see the fights. If I'm watching NASCAR, I'm like, can we just fast forward to the crash footage? I don't want anyone to get hurt, but let's face it, the car's flipping over, 50 times in 10 seconds. That's mesmerizing, but otherwise I'm just, and I guess if you're there, it's different. By the way, I didn't write this down, but I meant to. I'm driving south on I-55 today, because I go over to Brandon on Sunday mornings. And how right before you hit the stack, they've got like 2 lanes closed. So it goes from being 4-lane to 2-lane pretty doggone quick.
Yes.
And
right before Pearl Street.
Right before Pearl Street. I'm minding my own business, and some guy driving a Subaru, so that tells you all you need to know.
What does that mean?
It means he's the kind of guy. It means he's the kind of guy who just pulls into my lane like I'm driving the invisible car or something. And so I thought, now if I was Sean, of course I had to slam on the brakes. It was either slam on the brakes or there's going to be a collision. And I thought, if I'm Sean Guy, even though I'm on a very short runway because he's going left and I'm going right, I'm going to find a way to go around this guy so that I can give him my opinion about his driving. I thought, if only Sean was here, he'd know what to do.
Just give him a little bit of an edge.
A little something, just to let him know, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Hey, rubbing is racing, baby.
Yeah, that's it. So, anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Was it a Rankin County tag?
It was a Hines County tag. Man. And so I thought, well, that's...
Not too many Subarus probably have a Rankin County tag.
I know. Well... Yeah,
at least not openly.
Oh my God. Okay, that's the classic. If you know, you know, and I'm just going to leave it at that. There you go. In other sports news, this also amused me. This is something you wouldn't know. Today was George Costanza Day at Yankee Stadium.
Nice.
And you remember the bobblehead was. You remember the episode where George builds a bed or has a bed built under his desk.
Sarah and I talked about this episode 3 nights ago.
You should have gone to New York because you could have gotten the George Costanza sleeps under his desk bobblehead. Guess it was the Astros playing the Yankees. Guess who was playing who was the starting pitcher for the Astros?
Who?
Jason Alexander. Swear to God. I mean, what
Just
are the
coincidence.
What are the odds? So
I wonder if he was there, if they had had him there, Jason Alexander.
They never showed him. So I don't know if Jason Alexander was there or not. But my Jason Alexander pitched a no-hitter through 5 1/3 innings. So it was great.
Did they end up beat
the Yankees?
Okay.
Thank God. So we took 2 out of 3 against the hated evil empire. So that was good. The other thing, since I just knock out all my sports content, what's going on at the WNBA games, and why is it? Why is it that
People are throwing green dildos?
Well, Detroit has people throwing the octopus on their home ice. At Texas Tech, they throw tortillas on the football field.
Wait. In Detroit, they're throwing actual
the Detroit
squid?
Red Wings, you throw an octopus on the ice.
Like a stuffed one or an actual
An actual one.
Who is sneaking? I mean, that's like, who sneaks in a dead squid?
It's worse.
I mean, your clothes have got to stink.
I did not realize this. Whatever the Florida NHL team is, they throw rats on the ice. Who started that? Probably a bunch of transplanted Yankees would be my guess.
Dead ones, I hope.
Let's hope. But the
WNBA
has taken that tradition to
a
new extreme.
Well,
and I'm
of all,
thinking, what is
I just
this?
have to say, I mean, I find it very humorous to me. I mean,
many do, apparently.
I don't know. I giggle about it. I just the fact that you see this green dildo.
Well, the big joke is now that they have a no bag policy and you can't bring bags to the game.
They still caught a guy with
where
it.
are people hiding them
in their pants?
Oh,
you're going to start searching them. So, of course, there's betting odds on it. I mean, and here's the thing: some of the WNBA players are laughing about it and making fun of it, and others, of course, are not. They're very upset about it. It's misogynistic, blah blah blah. So I get all of that. I don't really know what was the impetus for why it was done in the first place. I think it was just
some random guy. It was kind of like throwing a yellow mustard bottle at the Tennessee game a few years ago. It was just kind of but I know where the guy got the yellow mustard bottle. He went to the stand, to the hot dog stand. I know where he got that. Where did the guy that threw somebody just walking around
we
randomly?
assume that the first dildo was thrown by a guy, but we don't necessarily know that. It could have been a woman. I mean, because typically,
what kind of statement is that? I mean, what are you, when people burn an American flag, I know what they're saying. But when somebody throws that on a WNBA game court, what are you trying to say? Wow.
I just don't.
This is not a family show
I don't know
anymore.
I don't know what the message is.
I don't either.
Which is, I think, why I find it so funny to me. I every time I see
it's
it,
just
I just
a
giggle.
random thing.
And
like, what the hell?
Crazy thing is that the WNBA is talking about shuttering their arena doors to not allow fans in.
They're going to keep all 12 people out of their games now? Oh, that's
Which is
a
like
shame.
that's the dumbest solution I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
I mean, to a certain extent, I don't know. All press is good press? I mean,
if they just embrace it and laugh about it, I think the joke would go. I think the joke would play out and it'd go away, and that would be that.
I mean, look, you have Vegas odds on the color of dildo. This is not.
Wow.
Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh, yes.
I didn't go that far down the rabbit hole.
Of course,
there,
green, the electric green dildo, it has the best odds, right?
The green monster, as they call it now.
And so, they have all the different colors that you can place bets on. What will be the next color? And of course, they've had a purple one. I don't know if they've had any colors other than green and purple, but in any event, I don't know. It is very random, very random.
Yeah, it's just one of the weird stories that when you were filling out your bingo card at the beginning of the year, what are all the things we could possibly be talking about? This ain't it. That would not have gone on it. So anyway, I heard something to change the subject completely. Thank God. I heard something I have not heard in probably 20 years. I'm getting Danny to send it to Daniel to play it. See if this rings a bell for you.
Okay. What's our clip? AOL dial-up. And then the crazy thing is that if you knew the sound so well.
You knew the sound so well
that if it didn't go exactly right, you were dropping F-bombs because you knew you were not going to get connected.
Yeah, one of those is enough. I played that, or I had Danny play it because.
What made you think of the AOL?
I'll tell you why.
Do we have AOL? You've got mail?
No, because AOL announced that they are ending their dial-up service on September 30, which is that's what that was the sound of. And
I thought,
wait a minute. I thought, how many people are there that are, first of all, using AOL of any form and are using AOL dial-up in 2025? Several thousand, as it turns out. I looked this up.
Several thousand?
Several thousand. Of all the, you remember you couldn't.
In the entire world, several thousand.
In the entire world, they're all the way down to several thousand. And somebody finally decided, you know what, we're going to pull the plug on that. I will say this. Every now and then, when I'm exchanging emails with somebody, I will have somebody throw out an AOL email address.
There are a lot of people that use AOL emails. Comcast? I still have a Comcast email.
Do you know what your AOL email address is? Not that I'm asking for it, but do you know what your AOL email address is?
I'm sure it was Sean R. Guy. That's always been my email.
Wow.
And when I went to Comcast, it was my email there.
The statistic that I saw was that AOL Mail has 1.5 million users right now, which is nothing. That's like 0.01% of everybody that's using email. But yeah, I mean, my God, I can remember when every week you would get a free AOL CD in the mail, and every counter at every restaurant had free. You remember
is
this?
Google, is Gmail, that's got to be the number one.
Got to be
outside, outside of your work email.
Yeah, AOL, and then they got upgraded to Netscape. Or AOL didn't upgrade to Netscape, but that was the next internet upgrade. I remember Netscape being, oh my God, this is the most modern thing in the world. You can download baseball scores in maybe 5 minutes or five or 6 minutes. This is amazing.
And of course, we have Jim Barksdale to thank for all the wonderful things that happened with AOL, Netscape, and Time Warner.
Yeah. Don't make a face. Yeah, I remember the first time somebody showed me AOL, and the first thing that I lit on was AOL chat. And I thought, this is crazy. You can just start having a conversation with any rando stranger. And how's it going in Dubuque, Iowa? How's the weather there? I mean, you don't know what to say, but I thought this is the most amazing thing in the world. Now it's the cringiest thing in the world. But I just remember AOL being a deal, and finally, at long last, it's over. So another thing that I wish would end, it is now pretty much first day of school is kind of hitting everywhere depending on what school you go to. Either started last week or this week, or I think the colleges are going to be starting.
Twins started
next
Friday,
week.
half day.
Yeah. And I swear I've already had the first visit, things that I wish would go away, of the kid coming around wanting to sell me the world famous chocolate bars. You remember that? I know you're making a face.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, somebody somebody has been waiting all summer to load down the 8-year-olds with the boxes in the melting heat with the world famous chocolate, also known as the guilt bar, because you got to throw some money at the kid. You don't want to just slam the door on him.
Like the Girl Scout cookies.
Mm.
Okay. They're sold predominantly in offices. Moms, dads.
Yeah, doing the kids' work for them.
The parents take it in there.
Yep.
And, hey, who wants to buy this in the office?
Wow. What is this magical thing that I've never seen before? A chocolate candy bar? What? Wow.
What is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
I like the peanut butter sandwich cookies. Probably
Those are good.
The best, yeah.
I would say that the Thin Mint has to be the most popular one.
Probably, yeah.
They have some other ones. I can't stand the coconut Samoa.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Yeah. One for everybody.
Yeah.
We had
the shortbread. Eh.
Yeah, those are okay. I will say, God, probably in the first 10 episodes of this show, Show Killer and I did 3 full episodes on Girl Scout cookies. I mean, am I wrong? Do you remember? Do you remember this?
There for everyone.
That was riveting.
It was riveting.
That was riveting.
I
podcast history right there.
Not only was it riveting, I would have people for the next month come up to me and tell me I was dead wrong about the opinions that I expressed about Girl Scout cookies. I mean, I'm telling you, if you ever want, the large language learning models that are powering AI, when somebody asks them a question about what do you think about Girl Scout cookies, I guarantee you it's going to this show. This show is teaching the world about it because we just couldn't get off of it. On and on.
Well, they have the fudge stripe, which is not as good as Keebler's fudge stripe. It's a distant second, and it's just not the same. But the Thin Mint, of course, now I have to say this. The Thin Mint cookies are best eaten frozen.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And have you never tried it?
Yeah, I've tried that. I mean, it's
I guarantee you,
it's a frozen Thin Mint. I got it.
Probably at our old house, because we still have a full freezer at our old house. Anyone who's going to look at our house that we're still trying to sell, when you're doing
there's a freezer and it's got Thin Mint
there's
cookies.
A freezer.
We're going to throw that in.
It likely has some
house.
Thin Mints. Go by.
Please.
Take a look at the house. Make me an offer. And
we'll throw more Thin Mints in there.
We'll throw some frozen Thin Mints in there on it. You know what else is great frozen is Nutty Buddies.
Remind me of what that is.
You don't know what a Nutty Buddy is?
I'm not saying I don't know. I said remind me of what that is.
It's the thin wafer with
like the chocolate
thin
crispy,
layers of
sure.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
With it's dipped in chocolate.
Never tried that frozen.
Well, of course, you can take, if you're very careful, you can take one whole wafer off.
Sure.
And separate. You can eat it one at a time. But you can do the same if you freeze it. It's actually a little easier if it's frozen to do that and slowly eat it. It is the Nutty Buddy frozen is up there with certainly the Thin Mint frozen.
Well, I guess I haven't experimented that much with the frozen candy, frozen cookie world. I can tell you that frozen M&Ms are called jawbreakers. Damn near broke a tooth the first time that I tried that.
Have you ever tried to eat a frozen Snicker? It's impossible.
It is impossible. That's right.
And you will break something if you try and do that.
Yeah.
But you can eat a frozen Thin Mint or you can eat a frozen Nutty Buddy, and it doesn't hurt. It's not difficult. It's really, really good.
Well, on the subject of strange food, where are you on the fried Oreos and the fried
no.
What is it? The fried Snickers bar the fried.
You have to draw a line somewhere in life on all things. Fried Oreos, that's a line.
I tried a fried Oreo and I was like, I can understand somebody liking this, but it's going to be a hard no for me.
Now, I will say this. The fried ice cream at a Japanese restaurant is phenomenal.
I've never heard of that.
They take a round ball of vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
Okay, just a huge, nice ball of ice cream. And they bread it in,
Crumbs of some kind.
Yeah, have you ever had, their fried, shrimp roll or whatever? It's just a very
light breading.
It's a very light, extremely light batter.
Okay.
They drop it in there and flash fry it. Okay. I mean, it's just a second. The ice cream does not melt.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have this delicious golden batter lightly covering your frozen ice cream. And it's awesome. You should have it. You should try it. Frozen ice cream.
I've eaten so much garbage in my life. I'm amazed that I never found my way over to that particular pile of garbage.
I mean, it's not just. I mean, all of them around here have it. It's a Japanese treat.
And again, just to keep on changing the subject, other than the world famous chocolate bars, I'm still obsessed with the evil of making children sell things for nothing. I will never get over when I played in the band, and they had us selling candles. Like, we're going door to door selling candles. I've had kids come door to door selling bathroom fixtures. Like, here's all the kinds of cool things that you can get in your bathroom. But I had to sell candles, and I mean, we were having to check in. And how many did the trombone section sell?
You know what we got in the mail the other day?
Yeah.
A handwritten letter addressed to us. We opened it up. It had a stamp on the envelope, and it was a handwritten, on a piece of lined paper, a handwritten note asking us, it had our name on there and everything, asking us to give the Jehovah's Witnesses a chance to come and proselytize to us.
Oh, you should have done it. You did.
It was really,
didn't you?
Sarah and I read it. And,
okay.
Obviously, we did not write them back or call.
But you called and you gave them a chance. Why did you not?
Honestly, it was really a sweet letter.
They might teach you some eternal truths, Sean.
Well, they
give them a chance.
Yeah, I remember when I was in my early 20s, inviting one in to a house
with a
bunch of guys where we lived, and we were asking all kinds of pointed questions.
Yes, cross-examining them.
Exactly.
Well, who said you had to convert? You can invite these nice people over to your house.
Well,
and then
that's kind of one of those things.
Ridicule them for
That's kind of one of those things you do it once in life, and do you really need to do it again?
Well,
I've invited the Jehovah's Witness into my house one time in my life. I've experienced that, and I don't need to experience it again. When I die, I don't want to look back and say, you know how many Jehovah's Witnesses
that may be God's will for your
house?
life is to bring them the enlightenment of your Methodist or Episcopalian.
I should have brought them in and said, here's a question. If I ever bring them in, I can ask them this question. Will you please explain to me why the Apocrypha was considered the word of Jesus for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and then all of a sudden the Apocrypha books were no longer considered the word of Jesus?
They got dropped out. That's right. They got dropped out.
What, I guess they were divinely inspired for so many years.
No,
and
they
then,
weren't. No.
And then they were no longer divinely inspired.
That's what the Council of Nicaea was all about in 373, was decide what was going to be the canonical books.
Yes.
There you go.
I know. Not to go off into that.
Oh my God!
That would be a great question to ask a Jehovah's
everybody
Witness.
Turning their radios off.
Okay.
Going, oh my God! Please don't make me.
Let's move back to green dildos and NASCAR.
Oh my God! Funniest thing that you saw this week? I've got mine.
What's that?
Funniest thing that I saw this week was somebody sitting in a parked car with the engine running, with their phone up on the dashboard, and they were clearly like making a TikTok video or some kind of social media video because they were talking and gesticulating and the whole thing. And I thought,
nice verbiage.
There you go. And I thought, this is weird, how weird you look. And then I remembered of all the TikToks and whatnot that I see, like half of them are people sitting in their car yelling or crying, or a lot of crying. There's a lot, if you watch social media, there's a lot of people crying in their car.
About Sydney Sweeney.
Screaming and crying about Sydney Sweeney. And I don't know how that became the staple of, if you want to get famous, what you need to do, don't record in your house, go into your car. Why? Because the sound is so good, I guess. And just sit there and start crying. Cry about your student loans, or cry about how you can't find any good men, or cry about how you just got fired. Cry about Sydney Sweeney. Cry about something. Cry about Trump. And it's just, you just start scrolling, and it's one crying woman after another sitting. And so here, but she wasn't crying. She was in the Walmart parking lot, just mad about something. And I thought,
I will say this. I mean, I mean this in all sincerity, and this is, I don't know. Life is too, I'm just going to say it because I can say it. Life is too fucking short to run around being angry and pissed off and victimized all the time. I mean, we should be finding humor and bringing levity in our life and enjoy life for what it is. I don't know. I'm an optimist. I like to laugh. I find things very funny. I truly do not believe that my life is going to be ruined because Sydney Sweeney, decided to wear some scantily clad blue jeans,
No, that's not going to ruin my life.
It's not going to ruin my life. Donald Trump is not going to ruin my life, whatever. I mean, fighting in Gaza is not going to ruin my life. It's just not. I mean, there's always going to be a war that we can all bitch about and we can all bemoan and, we got to fix this. It's just never ending, right? If you want to find something to bitch and whine and cry about, the list is ad infinitum, right?
Sure.
And so, you have to make a choice in life. And I've chosen to, you can say I'm choosing to live in, blind blissfulness. Okay, I'm guilty as charged. But
that's why you're watching the WNBA. He's just sitting there.
Yes, that's
smiling
when I look at it, I laugh.
Ear to ear.
One of the things that I have really enjoyed is watching the comedians over the last 5 or 6 years, because they're like, when did we lose the ability to have humor in our lives? And I have to agree with the comedians. I mean, we've got to find shit funny. I mean, otherwise, what are we doing? I mean, I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox.
You got to be allowed. You have to be allowed to make jokes, and people have to recover the thick skin of nobody cares if you're offended or not. If you don't like the joke, don't laugh. But you don't need to censor me, please. I mean, I've been saying this my whole life. I wasn't trying to hurt you. It was just a joke. It's just jokes. You're laughing because man. My whole life I've had people just give me that look like,
well,
I don't appreciate that. It was a joke.
So people know, obviously, I mean, I don't hide the fact that I've been sober for a very long time. I still go to various 12-step meetings. I'll keep my anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. But I will tell you this. When you're sitting in a 12-step meeting of any sort, really, I'm assuming the other ones that don't apply to me are the same way. You start talking about the things that you've done, and then everybody starts laughing, right? They find humor in it. And of course, one of the early days of going into meetings and listening to people laugh about these horrific events in life, like, oh yeah, I was drunk with my kids, and I had a crash. I ended up on the median, and, I got out, and of course I, had to say to the officer, what did I do wrong? And everybody laughs. And it's like, if you tell that story in the middle of telling that story when it happens, there's nothing funny about that. You've put these children's lives at risk. And of course, obviously, your children are okay. They're not dead. A story like that in a meeting amongst people that are sober now.
As long as you're not in a courtroom trying to explain why DHS shouldn't have your kids, you're probably okay. But that story.
But I had this conversation with one of my children the other day, and I said, at some point, all things that were not funny become funny, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad.
Give it enough time, and it all turns to comedy.
Look, I mean, it was a sore subject for a very long time, because when I was, I don't know, maybe 16, maybe, we had been at like an outdoor, like pep rally, bonfire, and I decided to allow people that wanted a good view to stand on the hood of my Ford F-150. And of course, what do you think happened to the hood of the F-150? I mean, it had dents all in it, right? And of course, my dad, I mean, still to this day, he will bring it up, that damn F-150. And of course, me and my sister, whoever's sitting there listening, we're all giggling and laughing about it because it's funny. And even my dad will laugh about it, 45 years later, and we laugh about the hood, but there was a period of time where that hood was no laughing matter. I mean, it was ultimate shame.
Well, yeah, enough perspective, enough time, enough space, enough perspective, and everything turns funny. Unless you're one of the perennially offended, and that's not funny, and I don't appreciate that, and I just feel sad for the people that you come across that just have that feeling. It was a big shock to me sometime in my 20s when I realized there are a lot of people who they don't make jokes, they don't like jokes, they don't understand jokes. They're just not funny. They're serious people, and when you make a joke to them, they think you're stupid.
Well, okay, now not to make people turn the radio, so to speak, but I think God gives human beings certain traits and qualities and emotions, things that help us live life. Humor is one of those.
Sure.
I think forgetfulness is one of those. Like, I mean, we tend, when we reminisce, we tend to not reminisce on all of the negative things in life, right? I mean,
except for dialogue.
Right. I mean, when you look back, are you looking back at all the negative things that happened in high school? Or are you looking back at some of the fun things that happened in high school? I mean, it
depends on your personality.
Well, maybe
there's a whole lot of therapy about all the crappy things that happened when somebody was a kid.
But but therapists in the mental health community, they have learned that you treat trauma by having a conversation, so to speak, if you will, about the trauma to the point to where it no longer evokes that emotional response.
Right.
And, numbing yourself to the thing. But the only way that you can do that is you have to be willing to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't talk about it, well, then you have no real ability to ever recover from it.
Right.
And so, the idea or notion of, oh, well, I'm just going to stuff it down. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to laugh about that. No, which is one of the reasons why
you just keep stuffing it down and stuffing it down.
One of the reasons why you see people that recover from alcoholism or other addictions, they're sitting in these 12-step meetings and they're laughing about these things because they found the ability to be honest, and they realized that they weren't necessarily all alone, and that you can recover despite the fact that you had something that at one point in your life was just an atrocity, so to speak.
Well, it's funny you say that, because the first open meeting that I went to, and I guess I should, to those who don't know, if you're not an addict, you're allowed to go to an open meeting, which is not confined to people who are in addiction. So the first open meeting that I went to, I thought it was just everybody sits around and tells their drunk stories. And I'm thinking, this is going to be pretty good. And
you had your popcorn ready.
Yeah. I was like, these are going to be some pretty damn funny stories because drunk stories are funny. You've told a few on this podcast.
Yes.
They're pretty good stories. Yeah. And I had my popcorn and I was ready to hear some drunk stories. And instead, it was all this stuff about how you can be a better person and forgiveness. And I was like, I don't want to hear that crap. That's boring. I've already been to Sunday school. I don't need that. And it was an hour of just talking about
ways to better your life.
That sucked. It was no entertainment value
You
whatsoever.
wanted the NASCAR car
I wanted
accident.
the crash. I don't want to see people just going around with their lives being healthy.
To bring it into current events, so I actually I put this tweet out yesterday because honestly, as someone in recovery, I thought, I was like, respect. I mean, this guy. So a dude shoots his wife. Okay.
I saw this. This is great.
He shoots his wife.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't just shoot her. He shoots her and loads her up into his car and says, you know what? I'm going to take you to the hospital.
Good for you, sir.
I've had a change of mind.
That's mitigating
a change of
damages.
heart, and
That's
let's take her to the hospital and let's try and see if we can't get her to survive. And on the way to the hospital, he passes the local 7-Eleven and says, you know what?
I can get a 12-pack now.
That would be a really good time to go buy a 6-pack of beer.
Right.
I mean, my first thought was, well, did you go with the good shit? I mean, were we getting some Heineken or were we getting Pabst Blue Ribbon? That's an homage to that's an homage to Blue Velvet, by the way.
Yeah, he is dedicated to his craft
yes.
of drinking to destroy his life.
This is the alcoholic that I want to drink with.
Right.
And so I put the tweet out there, and of course, first of all, I mean, and I do mean this. I hope she lived. I don't know who she was.
That's big of you.
I hope she lives. But I have to say, I mean, kudos and respect.
Shout out to the drunk.
Yes. I mean, he was not going to be denied his 6-pack on the way to jail as well as, the
Might
hospital.
As well. Might as well. So she's in the OR fighting for her life, and he's sitting in the parking lot.
He's shotgunning beer in the parking lot.
Shotgunning beers, yeah, because after all, he's not going to be shotgunning beers for long. Get him in while you can.
Okay, so if she lives, let's hope she lives.
Let's hope.
And if he goes to prison or jail or whatever and decides to get sober when he comes out, that guy is going to be sitting in a meeting and he's going to tell that story to a group of drunks. And
they're going to laugh their tails off.
And they're going to laugh their ass off because there will be people in the room that will 100% relate to the fact that this guy had done something terrible and he did not lose the focus of getting the next drink.
But there are going to be other people sitting in that room going, I don't think that's appropriate.
Yeah,
that is
just
not
terrible.
funny.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing about that? And
Anyway.
those people need more meetings. They need to go to the meeting that I got stuck in where it was, how to find joy and crap like that. I don't need that. I don't want to hear about how to find joy or how to forgive people or, how to make a list of crap you're grateful for. Are you kidding me? I don't need that. I want to hear the drunk stories about how you got high.
Well, some people think
wrecked the car.
Some people believe that when you go to a meeting that all it is, in movies, for some reason,
it's always people telling drunk stories.
Well,
and
not really. It's the sad.
Yeah.
My life is horrible.
Right.
It's just the woe is me, self pity to the max.
Yeah.
The rooms are always dimly lit.
Yes.
And it's just
and everybody's
misery.
sitting around in a circle.
Yeah,
which I have not been to a sit around in a circle open meeting yet.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Are there?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Which actually I like because you get to see people. I mean, Anyway, I like the circle, but people in recovery look at AA. I mean, look at meetings and movies the same way that doctors look at doctors on TV and attorneys look at attorneys on TV, because they never get it right.
Oh, never even get it close to right.
Never even get it close to right. No.
Like I can't watch. I don't know if I've said this before. I can't watch a lawyer show because it just irritates the hell out of me about, how they show up at the office and they've only got that one case, and somehow all the hard work of discovery and interviewing witnesses and pulling documents and finding out what the documents say and finding an expert and figuring out all that somehow magically got done.
Yes.
And they go to the courthouse and somehow the jury magically got picked, and they're there for, and the trial lasts for, well, I guess an hour or two. And, you know, you have these 3-minute direct examinations that end with somebody saying, with a witness saying exactly what you wanted them to say. And then the objections are objection overruled. Of course, I'm sitting there going,
wait.
That's not an objection.
Wait. Let's see if you know what this came from. Objection overruled. Well, I strenuously object.
No.
Do you know what movie that came from?
No, I don't.
A Few Good Men. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
And at the end, Tom Cruise was like, I strenuously object. Is that how it works?
Oh, yeah. No, I really meant this. Yeah. And it's just 2 hours of this. It's has as much to do with what it's really like practicing law as watching Cinderella has to do with what the medieval world was. I mean, it's just absurd
for some reason,
fantasy.
For some reason, my two boys sent me a text yesterday and asked me if I had ever been found in contempt of court. And actually,
you've been in contempt of court. I know that many times. But you hide it well.
I came very, very close to getting thrown in jail up in North Mississippi.
What'd you do?
The former, now deceased, honorable or dishonorable Talmadge Littlejohn.
Talmadge Littlejohn, yeah.
Yes, who, if you're out there, you want to Google something today, you can Google Talmadge Littlejohn.
The chancellor in Northeast Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, he
passed
was.
away.
He made national news for finding an attorney in contempt and throwing that attorney in jail. And so,
well, for what?
Yeah,
do you remember for
the
what?
refusal to,
take the Pledge of
recite
the Pledge of Allegiance. He would open court with everybody reciting the Pledge of
Well,
Allegiance.
and prayer.
And prayer. The lawyer refused to do the Pledge of Allegiance, held him in contempt. Supreme Court tried to embarrass him, but of course I'm sitting here thinking it's an elected office. I think a lot of people who are not lawyers would say, hell yeah, a lawyer gets up in the courtroom and won't recite the pledge. They need to go to jail. I thought that helped his career when they held.
You thought that helped the attorney's career? Or
I thought it helped the judge's career when he got in trouble with the Supreme Court.
He did get in trouble.
He did get in trouble, but it wasn't much.
That was a slap on the wrist.
Well, what the slap on the wrist was the next time that they convened that they had the picking of a grand jury, convening a grand jury in public. The Supreme Court order was read in the presence of the grand jury, and the judge had to be there while it was being read about him. That was a so-called punishment, but I thought there are going to be plenty of people who are going to say,
that's like the
Larry
David. That's like the Larry David punishment of like, I steal forks from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
The public shaming.
Yeah. So, I mean, say what did you do to Talmadge Littlejohn that you were going to get, the late Talmadge Littlejohn? What did you do?
So I was up there this was the kind of case. Are you familiar with these structured settlements?
I am, but go ahead and explain to
Well, people can, if they have a settlement, they get a lump sum settlement from something or whatever, you can have them structured where they're monthly payments, for example.
Right. Yeah, you have a car crash, you get a judgment, you don't get all the money at once.
Right.
They pay you over time.
And so you can, 20 years, you get $5,000 a month or whatever. Right. And so you can sell those.
Yep.
And you can sell them to a company and they'll buy, let's say, $100,000 worth of future payments, and then they'll give you $20,000. Now, there's a lot of factors, and you think, why would that? That's like you're giving up $80,000. Well, these can be very high risk. They're having to sell it anyway. Talmadge Littlejohn hated this. Okay. And so there's a statute. All the states have statutes that basically are there to protect the individual from these terrible these quote unquote terrible companies, these factoring companies that buy these streams of payments. Well, so I have an individual that's on the stand that's trying to sell her payments, and she's trying to get court approval to do so. And she had gone and spoken to an attorney. She didn't hire an attorney, but she had gone and met with an attorney to seek his counsel. And so I knew this fact, and I was trying to get my witness to say, I said, did you seek consultation from anyone? Yes. Well, who did you seek consultation from? This attorney. Well, I'm not letting you get into that. He just interrupted me and said, don't ask her any questions about that. And I said, well, Your Honor, I mean, it's a fact. I mean, she sought advice and counsel from someone. Well, that attorney isn't here, and you're not going to talk about that. And so he didn't want me to talk about it because it helped.
It tended to show that it was okay.
It tended to show that it was okay, and he wanted to deny it. And so he did not want me putting it on the record that she had spoken to this attorney. And so I was not to be denied. And so I asked the question again, and he said, I told you to move on. And so I'm like, okay. So I move on, and I'm going down the road, and I come back to it, and I ask it a different way. And he absolutely lost it. And because I wanted to make my record, because I
that's
wanted.
why God created an offer of proof, Sean.
And so, I wanted it for appellate purposes. And
that's what an offer of proof is.
And so, I came back to it, and I'm going to throw you in jail. Yeah.
And would have done it.
He would have done it. And of course, after that, I felt like I had enough on the record of me attempting to solicit this information. And anyway, my client decided they didn't want to spend the cost to appeal it, so we didn't get to. But
well, in the TV shows about lawyers, I've seen plenty of lawyers get threatened by judges. I've probably seen more of that on TV than I have in real life, because when it's a lawyer who really is, like, no kidding, going to go to jail, they tend to straighten up and go, you know what, I'm not going to press the point.
That's right.
I have seen a few lawyers just
stupidly,
just barrel right past the barricade and just decide, no, by God, I'm gonna do what I want to do in the courtroom. But I'm trying to think of if I've ever seen a lawyer actually
handcuffed and
taken out because they just irritated.
You're right. I had never really thought about it.
Irritated a judge one time too many.
I haven't ever really thought about it. I mean, I've never seen it. I mean, I know it's possible. I mean,
I've heard of it being done.
Well, we heard of Talmadge throwing that attorney.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Perfect.
And I came very close. I mean, he told me, you do it one more time, you're going to jail.
You being an out-of-town lawyer, I'm kind of surprised that you didn't get escorted. You just didn't.
Yeah, I just didn't. And now, I mean, when I came back to it the third time, I mean, I was very.
Man, you are competitive. You really wanted to win this hearing.
But I came back to it, and I did it in a very sneaky way, the way that I was getting into it. I was getting her to basically go into it without asking the question, right? And he knew what I was trying to do.
Sure.
And I think because I didn't just outright ask it the way, he was telling me not to.
So clever.
It's probably the only reason why I didn't go to jail. But anyway, yes, I hope to never, ever go to jail for contempt of court.
For other reasons,
Well, I hope to never go to jail for any reason, but absolutely, I don't want to ruin my legal career by going to jail for being in contempt.
Yeah, when I practiced in Texas, everybody had in the file. How do I put this? Everybody had kind of like a trial file that you brought with them in addition to your regular case file. And, it might have the case law that talked about the common objections or something, just kind of stuff you're going to use every time you go to court. And one of them was the paperwork that you file when a judge finds you in contempt and throws you in jail. And if you have it and you
write in the date and sign it real quick. You can kind of toss it at a lawyer and somebody, and it was just.
You had that?
It was everybody had that. It was just the done thing to have.
I've never even seen that form.
Yeah. Well, this is in Texas.
They're tough out in Texas.
Practicing law in Texas and Mississippi that's a whole nother part. That'd be a 3.
Speaking of Texas
episode.
I saw this morning. Honestly, I was kind of shocked. It was on Meet the Press or one of these normally very liberal television news shows, on politics on Sunday morning. And they had J.B. Pritzker, the
Illinois
governor. Is he the governor?
Former governor of
He's
Illinois.
A senator now, or what is he now? He's an Illinois politician, and he's on the national level, and he's made news recently because he's been out there claiming that the governor down in Texas and Trump are destroying democracy because of the gerrymandering that's going on in Texas. And I was shocked when I saw this video, shocked. And so she said, how can you make the arguments that you are making that Trump is destroying democracy with the governor of Texas by the gerrymandering when in your state you have gerrymandered am I saying that right? Is that gerrymandered to the tune of 14 Democrats to 3 Republicans?
Right.
How do you explain it? And he goes, well, you're missing the point. That really has nothing to do with this.
That's exactly the point.
It is exactly the point. I was shocked. First of all, I was shocked that she did it.
Yeah.
Okay. That she actually called someone out for this. Oh, they're destroying democracy. Because she was saying, you've destroyed it worse.
You did it a long time ago.
And I mean, this has been going on for years. And then the other thing that was so shocking to me was the divergence of the ratio, if you will, of the Democrats to Republican in terms of House seats. It was just, I don't know, it was crazy to me that happened.
Yeah.
Good for her. I mean, I do think, I really do, and I've been thinking about this in general, I do think that some of the things that have happened since Trump has come into office as it relates to the media has been bringing about change that has been needed for a very long time in terms of the media is beginning to really hold itself accountable in terms of fairness to both sides of the political aisle.
That's a couple of interesting topics. One of them, the gerrymandering, and probably save both of these for the next week. But the gerrymandering topic is egregious. I'll just say that. And whether media is waking up to the idea of maybe we should be more responsible. I think what's happening is people are realizing, propaganda doesn't sell as well as we thought it did, or if it does, our propaganda needs to be the propaganda that people want to watch. And it has been kind of one-sided as far as which echo chamber you get when you turn on national media. So I'll leave it there. That's kind of a tease, but there is a whole lot that has happened in political media in the last 30 days. So maybe I'll make a note to. We've not talked about politics in a few shows, thank God.
Yeah,
talking about things that change the channel, but maybe take up both of those things next week.
We do stay away from it for the most part, but I mean, I like to call balls and strikes. I mean, let's call it for what it is, whether it's on the right or the left. I don't know. Of course, I think I've said this before. when I first started in college, my first declared major was a double major, which I ultimately did get in both business and communication. And for the communication aspect, I mean, it was a BSBA. And so for at one point, I thought I wanted to go into the news media. And I mean, I took all the journalism courses.
Right.
I took radio. I took television. I mean, I went through that whole process. And this was, the late 80s, early 90s. And my professors were, I mean, they were old school. They were old. I mean, they had been in journalism in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I mean, these guys were, they had grown up with what we believe is that journalists are supposed to be.
Right.
And that's the way that I was trained. And so obviously I didn't go on to enter into, news media, if you will, but I still was trained and educated as to how it is supposed to be, multiple sources, learned how to do all of that. I even went to communication courses to learn the American dialect on how to speak properly, to rid yourself of, the Southern accent. And
how dare you?
Yeah, I know, right?
At Ole Miss, they're getting rid of the Southern. My God.
Well, so but at the end of the day, we have not had
means nothing at all.
We have not had, in my opinion, for what it's worth, we have not had really, I don't believe, fair and impartial news media since the mid '80s, and I think hopefully maybe some of this recent stuff is bringing that back.
It's a big topic, and I could spend an hour just freewheeling off of what you just said, but I won't because we've done our hour. But why don't we put a pin in those two things, and we might just hit that next week so that everybody that doesn't care knows. Skip next week. Do not listen. It's going to be that.
So,
but it is very interesting. I agree with you.
Let me say, so as a teaser for next week. So don't answer the question. We won't answer it today. I don't want to know your thoughts on it. We can talk about it next week. When you used to watch Tom Brokaw, I know you did, right?
I watched one. Yeah, I probably
Nightly
watched
News?
CBS, but yeah.
Okay, but
I always thought Brokaw was really hard left.
did you think that after he left?
Oh, I always thought Brokaw was very hard left.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a difficult time really pinpointing where he was, in the late 80s watching him. Now, I know he was left when he got out because he made that very clear. But I remember growing up and thinking, is he? I didn't really necessarily know. Dan Rather, I always kind of...
Yeah, Dan Rather's, you could tell, was far left. I thought
Jennings?
I thought Peter Jennings was
Down the line.
right down the middle. I really did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that's the way it is supposed to be. It always left you wondering. Anyway, we can talk about that.
Yep.
We don't really have a bombshell to leave on except for the fact that I didn't go to F1 this week.
It won't next week.
All right, Dan.